Audio testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Live, we live. Testing 1, 2, 3. Audio is good. Okay, let's begin. I want to talk about a very interesting topic. Brain rot. First of all, I woke up today to 2 great videos from Dr. K. This guy, he and Jordan Peterson, I think, are some of the most sound and insightful advice on going through life that you could possibly find on the internet, with Dr. K being way more younger. He's more, I think, has more in common with he's got to be younger than me. He has more in common with the youth of today, and Peterson being the old school, I feel like. But they're both extremely intelligent, rational. They're rational. It's funny because life advice is not mathematical, so you cannot really apply a truth or false, value to it. But you listen to these guys. I don't know, for you, like, they're very convincing. I'm always on the lookout for, am I being brainwashed here? The argument is so convincing, you just can't help but think, damn, that's true. that's kind of true. God doing nothing. That's interesting. I honestly am very, very onto this right now. I'll give you an example. When I was coding, I can only speak from my experiences, right? 10 years I spent coding, pampering, refining an app that literally it bought my entire house. Like I said, mortgage. I did a video on a house yesterday, mortgage free. It's all because of that one app. So obviously I put all my resources into that one because it had the most financial value. I have gratitude towards Steve Jobs for whatever sacrifices he had to make to bring the iPhone, to go against the naysayers and just believe in his product. Because without it, I would still be, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing today, honestly. He got me financial freedom. Financial independence it's the shit. A lot of things in life, people tell you it's shit. It's not. But financial independence, yeah, that's the shit. It is. It's being free from whoever tyrant you think could be controlling your life. You get to do everything your way, the way you want it, when you want it, as long as you're within the confines of certain things, and you're not doing crimes. But you don't have to just listen to someone blindly, because why this happens only because they hold your financial future hostage, right? That's why they can manipulate you, or they have power over you. It's about getting power back for yourself, basically, and it is good. But anyway, as the example I was pointing out was basically that when I was doing coding all the time, I would literally be so pressured into doing something about it that it's not really the same thing, but I'm just saying that sometimes you can get stuck spinning your wheels, like you don't really. Doing nothing is good. It's good for the brain. You need your brain. The brain needs to rest. It is not a 24/7 productivity machine. I believe this is what's causing some of the malaise here in many countries, but I think in particular Japan, where the motto is, if you're not working fucking overtime, you ain't doing shit. You see, in my mind, long hours is okay if that's what you really want to do. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you want to see something made, something done so bad, it's actually harder to stop. Your body and mind as one want to see the completion. And then there's other types where like your mind's like, oh, I want to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to stop. I want to stop. And um, this cat though is one hell of a thing. Cutting. She's upset when I'm busy. I was sitting here doing nothing for the longest time. She didn't care. I start streaming and talking, and then she gets jealous. It's crazy. This cat is insane. The right thing to do is not is just ignore it. A thing that Dr. K has alluded to in the next video. She's gone. See, last night I was like, I had trouble sleeping. I'm like, okay, if I had Cutting next to me and like purring, it'd be easier. She's fucking nowhere to be found. Like hiding in my house. Then when you're doing something else, when you're busy doing something else, that's when she comes up to you and says, hey, pay attention to me. Again, I don't want to say that it's because she's a female cat, but she's a female cat. Anyway, it's true, eh? The moment you forget about a woman, that's when they call you back. Their instinctive nature is to not be forgotten by people, to leave a mark on people's minds through their beauty, presence. It's their thing. I mean, it's not just women, I think men too are like that, but women are doubly so for some reason. Anyway, see, she made me lose track of my thoughts. Just talking about what here? Oh, right, coding. I would go to like coffee shops all the time and just code something. But later on realizing that whatever I coded was just nothing, really. It was just recoding something in a different way, changing fonts. The worst thing is to change fonts back and forth for no reason. And nothing was really progressed. You know, you can't lie to yourself. When you're working for someone else, a boss, you can say, hey, boss, look what I did today. I wrote 20 lines of code, and they can give you, or 100 lines, or 200 lines, and they'll give you a pat on the shoulder, right? If a company uses that kind of metric, I'd be really worried. Because they're like, oh, you're measuring how many lines of code? What was coded, though? In what way? And then, even when the purpose seems honorable, I don't know. Like, even I question my own work. And sometimes you can work on one thing for a week, only to find later that, shit, you never needed it in the first place. Or, shit, it's completely unfeasible. And then, you delete it. And no work was ever done. And that's the kind of thing that I think should be avoided. I think mindfulness is huge. When you know something is... You can discuss in committees. But if you sat down, did nothing, or just did something else, low mental load activities, cooking. Cooking is not always low mental load, but the same recipe is low mental load. Cleaning. At a slow pace, not a rapid one. Not in a sense that you want to cook to get it done as fast as possible. You throw away min-max for a while. Just throw away the min-max thing. Just take it slow. As if you're that pressed for time, right? And sometimes, often, the solution presents itself in the most mysterious way, just by sitting there doing nothing. Honestly, it's like you thought you were doing nothing, right? But by doing nothing, you've allowed your subconscious to go to work. And the subconscious is a fascinating thing because it operates on zero effort. Like, I honestly think for making a project, a program, some of your best ideas, my best ideas, came from waking up in the morning. That's it. I take no credit for the work. It was done for me with my subconscious. It doesn't need a salary. It just doesn't work overnight. It just figures, it's just, and I wake up knowing what to do. It's actually insane. If I don't jot it down sometimes, though, it's kind of lost. And that's kind of sad. But, like, on a whole, it's like there's another agent inside my mind that's doing work for me. And why this is important. If you're overworking yourself all the time, if you're going turbo speed on productivity, just to make yourself feel better, sometimes that subconscious gets muted because it's too fast, too much on the brain. and you have to do something else. And when it feels good to do something else, I would recommend do something else. It's so bad to force yourself every step of the way to do something you don't want to do. You know what I mean? It's unnatural. And although you can wring out some degree of an acceptable performance from forcing yourself completely, it will never be like the real thing. Okay, so all I can tell you is when I taught English at my English school, I loved it. I loved it, and the students recognized that I loved it. I didn't do things from a manual, I taught from my heart. And some might say, "Oh, that's undisciplined," and true, maybe it's true. But if you don't teach from the heart, you do it with resentment because your boss told you this and that, or you hate your job. It shows greatly, and people don't like that. They want to see people do things they want to do, like aligned with. It doesn't matter. Your skill level is almost secondary at that point. If you have passion for what you're doing, sometimes the technical side just sorts itself out. But if you have zero passion for it, if you hate what you're doing, I think that's just, yeah, technical skill can save you. But again, I think the end result will always be middling at best. I think of a restaurant that has great recipes, let's say, but every staff member fucking hates their job. They fucking want to spit in your food. How good is that, really? I mean, don't you want to eat at a restaurant where the chef loves his own food that he's making and wants to give it to you? It will taste different, I guarantee you. It's not a matter of atoms and molecules being arranged in a chemical manner for your body to process the chemicals that go into your sensory olfactory. It's not like that. I mean, some people might think that's all there is to it, but I think that's a sad way to look at life. All atoms and molecules and energies, I believe there's more dimensions to our experience of this world than just atoms, molecules, and energy. Just more than E equals mc squared on these theories of relativity. There's more to life than this. When you experience love for someone, I don't see where the E equals mc squared or molecules come in. I don't. It's something more, isn't it? Right? Without that, life is so barren and miserable and not worth living in my book. The embracement of the divine, the more than just this crude matter that we are in, that to me is what gives life its glory. And if you ever lose that, I think it is very important you look at it, find it again. Through that frame of mind, I can see why my wife and I are not together, because, and this is the big stressor point, so once women bear children, I really think their priorities do shift. Not just a fancy schmancy, today I'm going to wear a green shift. I mean, like, I know what my new purpose in life is. Moment shift. Okay? It's not trivial. It's not fashion. It's not fickle. This is a huge rearrangement at the cellular level, biological level, an instinct that predates, I mean, it's just, I don't know what stage of evolution are mammals wired to protect their young. I think very fucking early. I mean, you see it most strongly with mammals, though, and not all, but usually mammals. And I think it makes sense, like, if you're the designer of human beings and how beauty and excellence works, it makes sense that when a woman is fertile young, they have a slender waist. It means this room is available. It sounds crude, but it makes sense. This womb is available for fertilization. I know it sounds very gross to say it this way, but that's what it signifies. When you look at a pregnant woman, as pretty as that face may be, please don't tell me you jerk off the pretty woman. That's weird. I mean, sorry, pregnant woman. Oops. Right. Anyway, is that a Freudian slip? I don't know. It doesn't make sense, right? It's rooms occupied. You have to vacate the tenant, so to speak, in order to. So, the point being that the whole beauty seduction, attraction, dating, mating. It's no different from the male peacock flaunting his fucking feathers to attract mates. There's the same thing. I think we glorify it a bit too much in culture. Um, if you listen to the lyrics from the more modern males or females singing about love, it's kind of like dark, like especially with oh, I don't get into it, but like I think on a lot of levels, people just they find the dating thing to be so fucking annoying, isn't it? And you know, um, just understanding it is very important, though. It's hard because I recognize I seek attachment because of I guess an unstable self-image. I think that's kind of true, but I'm working on that. I think it's better now. Just age and things like that. Um, Doing nothing is important. Going back to the video I have in front of me, it's a great video too. It's a bit different though. I think his point was that there's copium and hopium, right? Hopium is just reframing something in your mind. The yogis did it so that, um, as, when you deal with a problem, you can either pretend you're trying to solve it by doing something else. You can actually solve it. If you can solve it, just solve it, right? That's what I love about programming. What I love about programming, cooking, is that we're dealing with physical objects that are manipulative, that can be manipulated. And so when there's a problem, the solution is often always there. Unlike with people, unlike with more difficult problems like quote unquote being successful in life, there's no clear cut way. Honestly, it's very difficult, right? But you have a problem with programming, it has to be solved. There's always going to be a way out, usually. And with cooking, same thing, usually, right? Either you can technique problem, practice, either a knowledge problem, learn the recipe, or you don't have the tools problem. Well, can you afford the tool then? If you can't afford the tool for the cooking thing, then just don't cook it. Or can you adapt it to something else? There's always going to be a nice solution, and you can enjoy the results, which is, in my mind, good food. Anyway, the doing nothing, I think it's important. Sometimes, if you were to do absolutely nothing, instead of doing, actually, you do something, but it's worth nothing. I think doing something but it's worth nothing sometimes. No, it's not. That's not the right way to say it. Like spinning your wheels and burning your energy on something that's just not going to do anything for you is not good. Is a takeaway I have here. That's it. And but was not his point. His point was about reframing. Right. The hopium is you're doing something irrelevant and it will solve the problem, but it won't. Still better than nothing. I don't know. And then there's copium where you just reframe it. And if it helps, it helps. I mean, since you can't solve the problem anyway, I mean, like. Anyway, other one was very good. Brain rot, another good one. I didn't have the right idea what brain rot was. I thought it was more like brain rot was more like actual rotting of the brain. I don't know, like. But apparently, it's like when we have bad response. I don't want to get into it because he explains it so much better. But the takeaway I have here was that he draws the analogy to an actual infection, and it's really fascinating. Is the best way to understand was through the physical one, where if you have an injury, like a bacterial infection comes in, right, and it starts to colonize your injury. The word colonize was great because colonize is a very powerful word. We do it on a macro level. We try to colonize other people and their ideas, and it's basically war, right? War is colonization. You want your values, your essence, your stink, your smell to just basically dominate another person and overwrite them. It feels good, honestly. It feels good. Like when you run those games like Assassin's Creed, where the base principle is to just expand your territory by eliminating other people in other territories, and you expand your own. It feels really good. It's how bacteria behave when you look at that. Think about it for a second. And that's what bacteria do to your body if you have an injury. It's a barrier gets broken, your skin or whatever, an injury. They invade, they colonize. If you don't treat it, they'll keep colonizing. But the interesting point is the reaction from the body to this is what sometimes is dangerous. So his thing was, especially with infants, the fever goes so high that like 40. Like I've seen this all out with my, when I was raising little infants, is that their fevers go sky fucking high, and it's a reaction that needs to get treated. And it's too much. So the parallel would be in the world. You have a bad event, a bad thought, breakup or whatever. In my case, my wife leaving. Okay, I'll use that one. And it's like you can have that will start to colonize your brain. It will break through a barrier. It will start, and then the thing to watch out for though is what's your reaction to that? What's your fever? What is your fever? What temperature is your fever? And of what characteristic is your fever? And is that fever good for you? It could be. I mean, the fever is the body's way of fighting back. But sometimes the way the body fights back instinctively may not always be the best way, or at least it can be tempered with a bit of mindfulness, a bit of thinking about, well, what is that really? And this is a great video too. I mean, Dr. K is really good at explaining these things. He has a very thorough understanding of how people process things and how our minds actually work. And I think he's gifted. This man is gifted at his job. And he can, because he's working at such a reputable institution, and people always want to know, like, is he, of course, you need some kind of foundation for your credibility. It's Harvard Medical School. Can't say anything higher than that, right? Gives him credibility, gives him liability almost at some point, which he has to own up to, which means he's not just can't just about BS and get away with it. He's very popular too, meaning that he gets called out for whatever. I think another takeaway from this one was like our reactions, our inflammatory reactions, our defensive responses to things. I think of my mother and myself too. You say one thing and an inflammatory response comes out. Like I asked my mom, how come I don't have more kids? I don't have a brother. And her inflammatory response is, you think you're not enough? That kind of hurt, honestly, at my time. That shaped my mind for years to come. Is why I resent my mother still to this day, that she took her unprocessed anger out on me. And that's not right to do to a young person. The children should not be the punching bags for your unresolved anger, guilt, failures, whatever. That is not good. I think as adults, we need to learn how to process that ourselves and not take it out on our children. In the same vein, I don't think laying down your unresolved hopes and dreams on your children is a good thing either. They should be allowed the freedom of choice to live their own lives within certain boundaries. Those being criminal activities and, like doing absolutely insanely scumbaggy shit that would just be revoltful on so many levels. Barring that, whatever, Honestly, having distance between my daughters, I don't even care if they go into the porn industry, as long as it's not like gonna kill them or. I'm serious. I mean, like if that's what they're valued for, then it'd be sad a little bit, but I don't know if they like it, sure, whatever. Like if they like it and they're not gonna get abused. I've seen those porns. Those girls get abused sometimes, but like as long as the company has like some kind of will hold responsibility of certain actions and your child knows what they're doing, then let them at it. Maybe they'll learn something. I don't know. It's like at some point you gotta stop playing manager. And I believe like games that I've played that have a very loose manager, so to speak, like Path of Exile, right? Or Minecraft is the best example where they lay down the base rules, but they don't play manager. To understand, you got to play it. And when you play it, the sensation of there not being an overlord with a whip cracking down on you whenever you make a mistake. There are no mistakes in Minecraft. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole beauty of it. You do what you want to do within certain rules. That's it. And those rules do not change haphazardly to suit someone's convenience. That would be annoying. That same principle, whatever you want to call it, open world or whatever, should be applied to many domains in life, I think. I don't like an overarching overlord entity. You can code that, by the way. When you code something in the program, it's actually kind of hard to code an overlord. Like, a game like Minecraft is actually light on the coding side in that department, for example. It's heavy on the construction side. But like coding an overlord, you can. It's really weird. Like you can do it. An overlord being like a dumb, like let's say, player walked in the wrong direction, stop them. Like that's coding an overlord. You know what I mean? Like an arbitrary god that just tells you what's right or wrong. I don't like that. Better to not do this. And yeah. See, I want to actually, in line with what I just learned today, I get really upset with my cat every time she does this to me. But if I look on it as a challenge, as how still can I sit when she yelps at me, it's quite difficult. She's brushing up against me, trying to get my attention, and she gets it every time. That's why she never stops. So I just continue doing what I'm doing, and it's a war, basically, a battle of who can just outlast this. It is a bit of a challenge, honestly. This cat's meow is so piercing. It's a weird one, and she's persistent. She doesn't stop until she gets what she wants. So we'll see. See, I think she detects my voice. As I slow down and stop talking, she stops too. Then when I get into my conversation, I think she tries to raise her attention level, like her need for attention as well, just to interrupt. Like her desire, I think, is to interrupt. And that is just how like my presence is so wonderful that it should stop people from doing other things. I sound like a woman. I'm sorry, doesn't it? You know how like women are always so happy if they go out in public and they turn people's heads? Well, listen, if you're going to be a good person, quote unquote, you should not do that. You're interrupting people. You're causing distress with other relationships. That funny meme picture where like the guy is looking back at another girl and her girlfriend's in like utter disgust. How dare you? There's no how dare yous. If there's a prettier girl, you lose. That's it. It goes both ways. When girls find a better man, quote unquote, they jump ship as well. It's fair, absolutely fair. I mean, yeah, it's sad that younger women get points for just being young, but can't complain, right? I think people who accept the game for what it is, quiet and just play it as best as they can, and don't complain, are by far the most attractive, right? The worst types of people are the ones who nag about it. I guess that would include me, who complain about the game all the time, and not realizing they're losing. I mean, it would be better to admit that you're just losing to someone else. And if you can't fight it, well, reframe it. Like there's no to be in denial. I think is very bad. And anyway, like for example, this streaming thing, it was terrifying because you go in public, people can watch you and judge you, right? But it brought a new respect for me for public performers. They deal with this every day, and it took about a month to get used to 0 views. Honestly, it's not fun having an indicator that you're worthless, kind of, on your screen, and I still can't deal with it because I don't even want to look at the view counts. Like, I don't mind looking at them after the stream is done, but I don't like looking at them during because it affects the way I think. I get a negative feedback and it makes me like stop. So, and honestly, right now I'm talking with my eyes closed because this is the only way I can get in touch with what's going on in my subconscious. I'm kind of just rattling off my subconscious at this point, trying to control it a little bit though. In a way, like the sensations, like the conscious mind in this what I'm doing now, right now, acts like a manager, and the subconscious is the engine for sure. Without the subconscious, I have nothing to say, right? But anyway, so try to get back on topic. These two videos were fantastic. The brain rot was great. The biggest takeaway is we can control to a certain degree through some mental gymnastics. Honestly, our responses to events in life, and if we don't do this, it can be really bad. And I think in my case, I live my life in a way that I've minimized the input of potentially bad sensories. I've minimized the potential of potentially bad sensory inputs. Example, I don't stream because I don't want to see zero views. This is basically avoidance of something. I mean, you don't have to stream, of course, but I think streaming is great because streaming is like I feel like it's like working out your mind. I mean, in a way, the part of the mind that deals with I am so scared that I'm worthless. Um, Maybe you are, but let's find out. I mean, you can either do it, never do it, never find out, and live in La La Land pretending that you are worth something, or you can try it and see, oh well, hey, turns out I realized one thing, I talked way too fast. I never realized this, and I've actually made it so it acted as a bit of a debugger in certain ways, right? Because you can review your own stream afterwards. The most valuable thing, if this YouTube stream did not allow me to rewatch what I did, it would have far less value to me. Which is why I don't like Twitch, because Twitch deletes your VODs, which I don't like at all. I want to have a diary of sorts so I can see the progress or what's changed, how I sounded 1 month ago. This is very important to me. And I think YouTube offering it for free, quote unquote, is fantastic. Um, as long as you don't get caught up in their game would be to egg you on to create sensationalized content, let's put it that way, to attract views and clicks. For advertisers, if you do this, if you sex up your videos or sensationalize them like a tabloid to get clicks and views because you're in love with the views, and that brings ad revenue, of course, you are now working for the advertisers. Let's face it, right? In a way you are, right? You get paid, but you're working for them. Now, if you go ahead and just do whatever content you fucking please, regardless of the popularity or the clicks, well, you're working for no one but yourself. I mean, like, I do this because it's almost like self-therapy for me. Um, It'd be better talking to a real therapist, but they're not really available, are they? 24/7. This is the next best thing. And it clears my mind. I unload shit I want to unload. I feel like it's like taking a piss. You drain out some excess whatever in your brain. Feels good. You can review it later, see what kind of sewage came out of your fucking brain. And I'm not always. Sometimes I like to do a managed content approach. But certainly in the morning and night, where my brain's in a certain kind of a fog, I want to clear it up. Be honest with myself. What's going on? You know, try to take it in a positive direction. This is just like it's the equivalent of writing a diary, but just, it's less stress because you're talking, and talking is more efficient than writing, in my mind. Um, so, and having an audio record of what's going on and shit, I think is very valuable. Now, brain rot is another thing I want to get into. This one I have to put on my glasses and open my eyes finally and read this because I thought this was very interesting. That okay, brain rot describes digital media as trivial, simplistic, or low in quality. Yeah. Digital media. Yeah. Okay. Dating game shows. Some interesting slang. Delulu. I don't know. Low effort, repetitive. Yeah, that's true. Oh, the word of the year. Whoo. Demure. I love demure. That's a bit too far of demure, huh? Shit posting. I internet behavior is fascinating. It's a reflection of what's going on inside our brains, isn't it? And, when you read like a chat stream, it's like being wired into the human ego or human, not ego, the human stream of thought. I don't know. It's fantastic. I love it. Although I do think that the excessive online activity isn't that good sometimes because of how I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough to speak on this subject. I like slower paced things these days, honestly. Just let the mind breathe. You know what I mean? Let the mind breathe. Otherwise, it feels like it's suffocating all day long. And as you get older, one of the good things about getting older, I'm going to use a tennis analogy. When you're young and you have like a lot more muscle, you can swing a racket a hundred wrong ways, and your muscles can make up for it. Your physical strength can make up for it. And is that a good thing? Not really, because it really should be that the proper technique of swinging a racket, and this applies to golf and all these kind of baseball too. They're all kind of similar. Is that when you swing a racket, baseball bat, an object that has like a lever type of object, you want to use your body, right? Your arms are not really the force generators. That would be your lower body. The contact of your lower torso with the ground, the compression and release of muscles. Like when you swing a tennis racket, people think of the arms doing the swing. That's not true. And I played tennis for a long time. It comes from the lower body. Look at Federer. He's not a muscular guy. Like he's not like Muscle Man on top, right? But look at his fucking thighs. Holy. Like you could crush a head with those thighs. Those are really strong muscles in there. Because the force behind a racket swing, the speed, you don't need force, right? The one eureka moment in tennis is that the ball is 28 grams. It's fucking light. When people say power, what they really mean is speed. The word power should be eliminated, honestly. It's not good. People don't. Power sounds like. Well, speed is power too, right? Because without power, energy, kinetic energy, you can't get speed. So, anyway, the thing I wanted to say was that with tennis, the fun thing is that it's the lower body that generates all the force. The upper body is the controller of it. It will direct the force as you move your body. The correct motion for this tennis racket is what produces the beauty of it and the speed. And it feels fantastic. Like what's that word called? Mwah, the chef's kiss, right? It feels sublime when you hit a tennis ball the right way. The ball hits the sweet spot of the racket, and you have a good racket. That's not like a child, but they have a great racket, and the ball goes flying beautifully back over the net. That feeling is divine. Okay, and it's not easy to achieve though. I mean, in people who just stand there with no body rotation, no hip torsion, no hip rotation, and just use their arm and wail at the racket. That's like ping pong, right? Kind of. But even at a high level, I know those ping pong players, they use their body too. And, like it's the motor, the engine behind it. I think the car analogy would be like for tennis, the lower body is the engine, the upper body is the steering wheel, so to speak. And I don't know why I got diverted to this. But anyway, I just think like it's nice to like do things that are not online. I feel like it's more you feel more in I feel more in harmony with, and great ideas can pop in your head as you know. I really enjoy cooking. I really enjoy I mean, to some degree, enjoy cleaning too. It's really crazy. Like I was cleaning my house. It's fun sometimes if you know a way of doing it well. You have the right tools. It's very fun, and I enjoy it. And I think it's a very important part of life. And taking out the trash and dishwashing are the worst too, though. Those are really hard to like. It's gross. That's why I don't like. Water is gross. The dishwashing, like mizukanke. Ugh. I don't like that one. Yeah. Garbage smells, right? Who likes dealing with garbage, really? It's not a fun thing to do. Anyway, brain rot, right? I mean, the takeaway here, doom scrolling. I don't do this. I haven't done that for a long time. One reason I don't want to get the new iPhone or any iPhone in general is because I just don't like the way computing has turned. It's not even computing anymore with a mobile phone. A mobile phone is just a brain rot device, really, to me. And I prefer to take my messages, my phone calls on a computer, a PC. And when I step away from the PC, I step away from the entire world. I don't take the fucking online world in my pocket. I hate it. I don't like carrying cell phones. The camera is nice, though. I will admit that. And I would like to have a device that's not a smartphone that could stream something. Well, it's a camera, right? But can the camera stream? I don't think so. I mean, I'm describing a smartphone at this point. You mean basically an internet device that's portable, that has the CPU power to code. I mean to encode video. That's a smartphone. Think streaming is extremely fun. Because it's sharing an experience with other people potentially, and good or bad, funny or not funny, hype or not hype. It doesn't matter as long as it's shared. The real question is shared or not shared, right? And I think if it's really something private, it should be private. But I mean, like a lot of things that don't have to be private. And I just know that when other people allowed me into their homes, they spoke to me at a personal level. I felt connected and less lonely. And isn't that a wonderful thing? Like to have it available anytime you want and it does help. It's not brain rot in this sense, in that when you hear another person's voice, recorded or live, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I prefer recorded because you're not inconveniencing the other person. The sorry for taking up your time part is gone, as a video is archived and you get to watch on your own time and they don't have to worry about it. Let Google handle it. You know what I mean? Make use of this archiving feature from YouTube. I think we take it for granted sometimes, but the storage space required for this is completely bonkers in my mind. If advertisers are paying for this, and hell, let them at it. The archiving of it is what's really great. Honestly, I don't care about the streaming part. I don't even watch my stream, chat or whatever. But what's great about streaming is that one, you don't get to do redos. Like in real life, you don't get to redo shit. You fuck up, you shoot someone by accident. There's no undo button there, okay? You don't overdub it. It's done. I like that though. It makes it so you're on your toes all the time. And two, the other one is that it saves me a step because I don't have to go back after I record a video and upload a fucking thing. I hate that step. I'm lazy in that manner. I just don't. I like it clean, like as interfaceless as possible. You just hit a button, boom, you're on. Boom, you're off. That's the ideal. All the setup is just annoying, honestly. I hate the setup. But you deal with it, it's fine, right? It's a big hump. The setup is a big hump. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna eat breakfast now and get started on coding. If I don't do this every morning, I tell you, I can't code as well. My brain is still full of some sewage, honestly, from left from last night or whatever. I don't know. Like doing this clears the mind. It flushes some things out of your body. I can't explain it. It helps. It helps. It absolutely helps. It gives you clarity on what you want to do today. Sorry, 9:40. Holy shit. Okay.